The first of 3 featured matches on October 29th. These are the Evelyn versus Braum matches.
And I think these matches will be particularly interesting because both Eve and Braum are pretty much mainstays on both Freljord and SI. Both teams really love to pick these champions.
Yeah, I think that, well,
No problem.
some have said that Braum may be more of a situational pick for the Freljord, or perhaps should be, because of his synergy with ADCs. Although I've seen Braum in most of these matches, so.
Right. I'm pretty sure you like to play Braum, and Endgame plays Braum, from what
Yeah.
I've seen. Main Braum players, so.
I think that may be it. We did see a nice support Ornn.
Support Ornn sounds pretty good into melee matchups. I honestly haven't had too much experience fighting with or against Ornn support, but due to his very close range 3-6, I do think that he does work well. Lots of high damage in melee range.
Sejuani
Looking over at
and Nivea,
Sejuani.
also pretty standard.
Standard picks. Going jungle, mid. Good draft. Callista being drawn for SI. It's always nice to see that at least one person on the team can play Callista for Shadow Isles, because when no one can play Callista, then we start having drafting problems.
Then things get interesting. So I just got a message from Silencer Mage asking what's with the picks thing. So I'll explain that again. That's it. So in previous arcs, one recurring issue I've noticed is it's been difficult to fit in the featured matches into the flow of the arc. And so in other words, we would give world systems bonuses and things like that. And I don't know, it just never quite felt right. So I said, well, what's something we could center them on this arc? Let's center them on champions. So champion stories. So what we're doing this arc is for each of the arc featured match weekends. First each faction is going to recruit a champion, and then that champion's sort of story advancement is up for being determined by the following featured matches. And then similarly on Sunday, they select somebody
I will wait for you to be better.
from their roster to highlight and have their story either develop positively or negatively depending on how they do in the featured matches.
Right, and one of the best things about this setup is that with the Saturday matches, for example, it sort of forces factions to be able to pick champions that they normally wouldn't pick, like the Quinn, for example. And then we get to see how this champion in particular excels during the matches and how they tend to adapt their strategies overall.
Yeah, I think that's right. There's a little bit of, again, perhaps slightly paternalistic motivation there as well, saying come on, try to make this champion work. Because I think sometimes otherwise people will be like, let's just keep doing the same comp. It mixes things up a little bit, and I think that, certainly I think they did well with their Quinn last time. I think that ended up working for them.
30 kills in that thriller of a match 3.
That was an intense match.
But it looks like they're going to opt out of the Quinn, and they're going to go for the Trundle this time. Trundle top lane, I think. Which will be a very strong matchup into Maokai, specifically because of how the Trundle versus tank matchup works. That'll always probably go in Trundle's favor.
And I think that, I don't know, it looks like this might be a little bit more of an AoE Freljord.
AoE Freljord, very strong teamfight Freljord. And Shadow Isles, it's a Fiddlesticks mid lane. I'm not too surprised about that, since Silencer was really adamant about playing it Fiddlesticks mid in the Shadow Isles chat. I'm not really sure how strong it is, especially when compared to an Anivia, who in particular has probably stronger wave clear, more AoE and CC. AoE CC. So it'll be a uphill battle for Fiddlesticks, I think.
Yeah, but Fiddle does. I mean that Crow Storm.
Crowstar.
The thing about Fiddlesticks is ka 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 ka.
Crows.
We're gonna have a bird versus bird sort of matchup.
But there's no Quinn in this game.
Well, I mean,
We're missing one of the
Fiddlesticks has some
birds.
birds.
Yeah.
Nivea's got some birds.
Bird versus bird. I think the jungle matchup was also very volatile. One thing I noticed in particular about Sejuani and Freljord is their tendencies to hard invade the jungle. We saw in match 3 that Sejuani was constantly in the enemy's jungle, just stealing away all the camps. So as long as Evelyn sort of manages her way around that, makes it to 6, gets her invisibility, then they should be fine.
Another minute 30 here. Let's see anything else particular. No teleport on
No
Shadow
teleport.
Isles.
Surprising. I guess that Ignite might be able to help you duel a Trundle who's focused on lifesteal. But
Yes.
trees with fire, not exactly the greatest of ideas.
That is their least favorite thing.
Right. It's so hot. I'm sitting outside right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the sun, so it's like just beating down. I can't see the summoners on the Freljord side, actually. That
Yeah,
might
it's
be a
strange how
glitch.
that cuts off.
It's cut off for you too?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I can just barely see it.
Yeah, I could. It might be a bug. Who knows? I thought it was like resolution problems at first, but
Yeah, and I think I think the problem is that it's coded as a minion. So
coded as a minion, of course.
coded as a minion.
It's always the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Anivio Wall coded as minions. Trundle Pillar coded as minions. But it's hard with code. You have to go back and update it, but it's old code, so you're like, what was I doing in the first place?
And here we go. Okay, so I'm going to rely on some people in the Twitch channel to message me in the client if there's an issue with the stream. I'm trying a few different things, a few different settings. So hopefully this will be. Yesterday I think there was a little bit of low FPS going on, so I think it should be better now. But let me know if there's a serious issue and I can adjust things. Surprise Party feels like continuing that theme of Shadow Isles, just hopping out of nowhere with their ults, having very dramatic entrances.
Dramatic. It's Storm Raiders too, so Fiddlesticks will have that extra move speed when killing people.
I actually take that on Vhagar, which is kind of weird, but
yeah, isn't it really fun? It's like you do a bunch of damage, then you just run around really fast.
I know. Those are like two favorite things: doing lots of damage and running around really fast.
I think that ever since Ghost has been introduced to the mages in mid lane, it's helped them with their mobility options.
Mm-hmm.
But then people have started moving away from Ghost and moving towards Storm Raiders, which kind of has the same function. So bringing Storm Raiders onto like a Fiddlesticks or a Vhagar, it's just so effective on them because they're able to move and weave around during their cooldown uptime.
Yep. Or all kinds of utility, right? You can burst someone and then chase the enemy team and catch them. I'm a believer in a move speed on champions with CC. on the theory that, you know, that way that if you catch them, your whole team catches them. This is why I keep building Swifties on Braum, even though I probably shouldn't.
Nah, Swifties are pretty good. They're like an extra tier above the other boots. So.
Yeah, they're boots of lots of speed. Air Jordans.
Actually, I think it would be really good to build Swifties against the Freljord because they're so slow reliant.
I was pitching that, and I think Shadow Isles was talking about that, and they're like, well, but Merc Treads are probably still better, and that may well be the case. But maybe. On a superficial level, certainly, it does seem like Swifties are like the anti-Freljord item because they reduce slows.
Right, and then...
And you're faster, you know.
Like, Mercs might reduce the stun when you get hit by an Ash Arrow, but Swifties, you might be able to dodge the Ash Arrow overall since you have more move speed.
Good point. Really, we should see a Zeal on every Shadow Isles champion.
Right, every Shadow Isles, double swords.
Double swords. Alright, let me also, while we're doing technical stuff, with the stream, how is the audio doing? I'm going to hop into the chat for a second just to see. Do we have a good balance? Do Quan and I both have decent volume? Alright, let me also, while we're doing technical stuff. Alright, well here it goes. So I'm gonna...
Factions pause.
The faction pause.
Go.
Yeah, I think Sinelli said they were having a little bit of internet trouble, so I'm going to use that time I'm going to reduce some of these settings. There we go. I haven't got a brain suit, neither will you. Get back the drain. That's a lesson from Beta. Terrifying bot lane. Was it bot lane? Something fiddle new meta. That's from Up in the Jungle by Area of Defect. Great song. You can tell how old it is though.
Are they still like around producing music?
I don't think so, but yeah, you can tell how old that song is because Warwick's verse opens with "I jungle so fast I can do dragon on both maps." Both because there's no longer.
Oh, 3v3 had a dragon.
Yeah, it was Ebonmaw.
That was so long ago.
Well, and also, of course, well, I guess is Warwick a fast jungler now? Because it used to be, right? That remember Warwick was like the original jungler, like when jungling was like an optional thing.
Right.
And he was fast because back then, what made you fast in the jungle was health, because it was all about surviving, and he had lifesteal.
But then after that, he became considered a slow jungler.
Right.
Even though he had a bunch of health and lifesteal and he was safe, he just attacked stuff really slowly.
Yep. Compared to I think higher damage became more viable.
Right. That was season 3, maybe, when season 4.
Big changes.
Jungle.
30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
Okay, so how is somebody who's watching? How is this looking on? Actually, here, you know, I'm going to share. Message me if the stream quality is so good I can try reducing settings.
Alright then. So I guess, assuming you don't get any messages, stream should be good. Or there's no one watching, so.
Yeah, I think so. Either way, we're fine, right?
Great.
Actually, I'm also well, there may be other ways I can.
Oh,
do
they
it.
have a hook down bot lane, gets the Braum, gets him to half health. Not bad. I think it's interesting that Thresh started out hook instead of your E play, because the E gives you your empowered auto attack, which is like the main source of damage behind Thresh. It won't matter too much once he gets level 2, but just a small point.
Get that Callista Thresh bot lane. That just, I mean, Shadow Isles really, that seems to just be their choice. And why not? You know, Thresh is such a solid support.
Right.
I guess the vulnerability is that Freljord over time might really start to learn how to deal with the Thresh lane.
There's a gank mid lane, Sejuani gets a stun off. They get a lot of damage onto the Fiddlesticks, but he does hold the summoners, so that won't mean too much.
And now he's hassling Sejuani.
There's a drain. That might be first blood, but the Anivia walls off the Sejuani. That's not teamwork.
I'm helping.
Sejuani gets it anyways.
Long range on that flail.
Yeah, just the tip, you know?
Yep.
It's gonna be another fight. Malachi wants to go in, but it's 3v1. He flashes over the wall. And yeah, that's it. Overall, Freljord come out on top, getting that first blood. That's gonna help out Sejuani with her clear, being able to afford jungle items a bit faster.
Down here, Ashe is doing a nice job keeping up on the, or you know, getting a little bit ahead on the CS. But yeah, I feel like that might be something for Freljord to consider. Just seriously start doing some research, asking higher tier summoners, etc. You know, how do you deal with a Thresh? Besides, don't get grabbed.
Don't get hooked.
Look at that Braum CC.
I mean, it's okay if they get hooked by Thresh because they're winning these trades regardless.
Yeah, that's
because they're like shooting into a Braum shield.
That might be part of the thing. So, you know, for a while I played Taric support a lot. And when I was thinking about champions like Taric or I guess Braum or maybe Leona, is that when there's like a Blitz or a Thresh, it's like, yeah, sure, grab me. Go ahead.
Right. Their like inherent tankiness just makes them a great matchup into Thresh, who isn't too tanky, nor is he like high damage either. He just brings utility, but without anything to back it up, it's not going to be very strong.
I think the real trick is that way, you know, Braum especially, you know, he can, if he gets hooked, he just throws up his shield. And then, you know, Ashley kind of engages, and Ashe can usually plink away a few times. So maybe it's the Shadow Isles, and you start going, how do we deal with Braum? Do we want to keep taking Thresh? You know, do we, you know, what's our...
Right, there it is again. It's like Braum gets a good hook, but Thresh hook onto Braum shield up, no problem.
Yeah. Here comes Evelyn. Might be able to get something, but I think it was warded, so they're keep their distance.
Yeah.
There's a hook that might be a little more dangerous with Evelyn.
Evelyn's there, but they can't get too much. It's just proper positioning when you see the enemy jungler. And that's the thing with Evelyn right now, because pre-6 her ganks aren't very strong because she's not invisible. All she has is the charm.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a bit like Warwick that way. That, you know, the pre-6 ganks are just not that impressive.
Ganks, not that good.
Oh look, it's a level 4 Warwick gank. How's it going, Warwick? He's like walks in a lane, and you're like, oh, I'll pretend to be scared. Don't want to hurt his feelings. Good job, Warwick.
Pretend to be scared against SI.
Yeah. Appropriately, they are a very scary team. They do have, as you point out, they just have a considerable capacity for bursting out of nowhere, like gah, 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 you know, or like Hecarim charging in out of nowhere.
Right. But right now, during laning phase, they kind of walk at you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too much mobility.
It's like a zombie movie, you know, it's just kind of.
It's just like a zombie movie.
Very
to be
slowly.
fair, in some zombie movies they start running. Like,
Sure.
Train to Busan.
I should
So
say
that's
the
like-
slow zombies,
Right.
classic zombies. Not like, I don't remember which one, but the one that had the start of the fast zombie thing. So yeah, if SI, well, you're a Shadow Isle summoner. Not to ask you to spill, you know, confidential strategy, but you know, who would you take for a support? Instead, is it a matter of just learning to play Thresh against Braum better, or maybe they should take a different support?
I think the thing with Thresh into Braum is that Thresh doesn't necessarily win, but it's not like Braum outright wins either.
Mm-hmm.
Since Thresh has the engage tool, he could just choose not to engage. Oh, there's a fight over blue. So Johnny's stunned, they might go in for the Evelyn, but she flashes out, Trundle flashes in, gets the Rabbit Bite.
Surprise!
Fiddlesticks. Surprise!
I bet you didn't know it was Sejuani's birthday, but it
I guess
is.
it's Sejuani.
Happy
That was
birthday,
it.
Sejuani.
And then Anivia follows up. That's a 2-for-1 favor of Freljord. They get the invade off. See, that's the thing with these Sejuani invades. They're very successful. So being able to pick up those 2 kills really snowballs the game in their favor.
Snowballs, as it were.
Snowball. At this rate, Trundle will probably be able to outtrade Maokai no matter what he does. Sejuani's going to be levels ahead of Evelyn. Actually, they're quite even due to rubber banding mechanics, but this puts the top side of Freljord overall at an advantage. And since bot lane is also pushing with Ashe, that means Freljord with like 3 pushing lanes will be able to have the overall map control.
Map control is important. Here's the Shadow Isles vision. There's the Freljord vision, which is not as extensive. There's that Ashe arrow. Oh, but nice save from the Thresh. It's her birthday again.
Double kill for Callista, picking up the kills, but she goes down to the Anivia, Agnivia. Evelyn went down, but that's 4-for-1, go in favor of SI. Well played team fight, good surprise party.
And now it's the dragon's birthday. Oh, interesting. Is Maokai using the support gold mastery?
Is he? I think support gold mastery is like when you hit someone, you get gold, I guess.
Oh no, but I think there's also one like for every when a minion dies that you didn't kill, you get +1.
All right, that too. I guess that works out if you have trouble last hitting, which makes sense.
It may
'cause
also help
it's-
during big pushes. Who knows?
Right, right. So it's probably going to be a little harder to last hit with the Trundle up against you.
Evelyn comes
wants
in.
to punish. Spooky. It's on the charm. Should be an easy pickup. They get the ignite down. It's going to be a pickup for Maokai. Gets him back in the game.
You know,
Put
come
more
to think
pressure.
of it, I bet the reason for taking that mastery is much more for the trays. You know, if you're planning on punching your lane opponent a lot, it's a nice chunk of gold.
Yeah. Trundle's gonna hit you with the club. Oh, Ash goes in, gets the arrow off. Almost picks up the thresh, but not quite there.
Closest, quite low. They both need to get out of there.
Very, very low. That's probably sub 10 HP.
Surprise, Anivia.
Killing spree.
This is gonna be a kill. Picked up the Fiddlesticks. They'll get Rift Herald off of that too.
Well, possibly.
Maybe they won't.
Yeah, they might not. I think they're backing off now. They see Sej and
Rift-
Trundle.
Sej could look for a fight here. Seems pretty safe. There's no Fiddlesticks ult. Alright, maybe it's not too safe. Trundle beats the ground angrily in frustration. But bot lane's gonna pick up the tower first. That's the first brick. I think that's what they call it. For
First brick.
Freljord. First brick, not first blood. First brick. So that's
Yes.
Ash about even with close to 3 kills.
Hey, Trundle. Surprise.
I like
Trundle's
how he
very
has, like,
surprised.
a little birthday hat on top of him.
He
Wait, he
says-
colored himself off. Might have been a mistake. Might be a bug. Harsh.
It was coded as a minion.
Minions. Minion block right there.
My shield will protect this shield. I'm just saying, I could have gone either way.
Maybe.
Gold gap's actually not that significant right now. The kill, it's funny, you know, in the game you see the kill difference, and that tends to have the biggest morale impact, I think. But
Gold-wise, it's not too much.
not too much,
Like-
you know. And gold's not visible in client, right? I mean, I'm fairly certain of that, but that is the case, right?
Yeah. I think if you play enough games, you can get a feel for how
Sure.
much gold you think your team has. But overall, everyone just sees the kills.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's the
that's-
Raptors' birthday.
There was a surprise party, but no one came.
No one came. There's a song by the Yordles about that. Very sad. But yeah, so I think that I find that interesting that probably right now, Shadow Owls has the morale advantage because of the kills. But I wonder how that might change if they realize that they were literally like 100 gold from each other.
Possibly. At the same time, Freljord does realize that they have first tower, so that sort of gives them a morale boost overall.
Map pressure. You know, champs respawn, towers don't.
Generally speaking, if you have pushing lanes, you feel like you're winning. Just because you could see more, because their minions are pushed up more.
Yep, they're free wards. The little walking wards.
there's an engage. Sejuani ult gets the Callista. Callista gets out. Braum goes in, gets hooked. He's still alive. Ult. They might re-engage. Yeah, that's a 1 HP Callista, but she's still technically not dead. So that's an overall even trade. Braum going down though. Good hook. Good hook.
Damn your pinks.
Your pinks. I know the feeling when you play invisibility, but then a pink sees you.
Oh yes, as an Akali main.
Yeah, I mean, I know they changed it so pinks don't see you anymore, but man, having to deal with that for like 4 seasons, not the best feeling.
You know, pinks are. I need to remember to do that more often. Just everyone on the team, just get a pink, put it somewhere. You know, they last forever, right?
I mean, if the enemy team doesn't.
Well, I mean, until they're they're
But
visible.
They do
Yeah.
last forever.
I find that sometimes if you stick them in an out of the way bush, they'll just last the entire game. It's just you get a nice little aura of vision.
Right? They just give so much information because if you don't see an enemy champion with your pink, then that means they're probably focusing somewhere on the other side.
Your vision is so strong. I find that in my scrub elo, vision and grouping are just so big.
Very strong, very strong.
You'd be surprised how often people either chase into the well, I guess they come together, right? Because the classic, I think, low elo mistake is, you know, chasing into the jungle when there's no wards in the jungle. And it's just like, you should just always imagine the enemy team running at you through Fog of War.
Right. And that's usually the case because you're chasing someone on their team. That means they're overextending, so that could be punished.
Surprise part of Fiddlesticks is very likely one of my favorite skins ever.
Right. Do you know what that thing that he throws is? It still
It's a
throw?
balloon animal. It's a little balloon
It's a
doggy.
balloon animal. Wow.
It's a squeaky little balloon doggy.
It's amazing.
Yes. I believe Surprise Party Fiddlesticks was a forum proposal.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Beekeeper Singed, also a very old, like people have been, since I started in 2010, people were talking about there's a fan skin idea, Beekeeper Singed, and they finally just made it.
I think Beekeeper Singe, that's a recent skin, right? But
It's,
it was
it's
proposed,
only
like,
actually made
years
recently.
ago.
People have been joking about it for long.
Surprise party. But there's a fight going on the top side. Fiddlesticks gets focused down and dies, but Evelyn might clean up here. Yeah.
That was nice.
Ash got insta-bursted.
This
right
always
there.
brings pain, but I'm gonna rewind to that fight. Going back to...
There's more going on though. Anivia getting caught, but she's in egg form.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll
it's
do
a
this.
tower dive. Picking up the rest of Freljord.
We do this in slow motion. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna accelerate over to where you are. Some scrapping under the tower.
Yeah, they pick up 2 kills right there.
Whack, 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 whack.
Fuck.
Trundle and Maokai hitting each other. Shadow Isles gets the dragon, and we're back. I just love slow motion team fights. It's a bit of an indulgence on my part, but I'm very slow to visually process things. And actually, that's one reason why I really enjoyed that previous match. Like, I remember there was a streamer, I want to say his name was Studio, way back in the
Studio.
day. And, oh, here we go. Stop, pause story time for a gank. Oh, no, it's backing off. And what he would do is he'd do these great educational videos where he would go pick a skill level, an elo. Then, oh, here we go. Here's comes the gank.
It's a flash, but it won't matter too much. Actually, Trundle might survive due to lifesteal. Good pillar this time. Yeah, that pillar saved his life. Ignite's not gonna kill him. And he survives. Well done. Very good pillar that time.
That flash was worth. There, a Summoner Silencer Mage definitely helped Fiddlesticks out. That was a good use of a Summoner spell. It's not all champions. Summoners do some work too. Underappreciated though. It's always the champions in the spotlight.
Ooh. Good Sejuani ult, and Ashe is gonna pick up the kill.
But I was gonna say, there's a streamer studio who would go different elos and he would deconstruct games, and often he did these like very slow motion dissections of team fights. I found that very interesting. It's like what you were talking about the other day, like, you know, do you dive? You can look at each person saying, okay, what is this person deciding to do?
Is it just like random games, solo
Yeah,
games?
I
or is
think
it
so. It's an older series. I don't know if he still does them. This is from like years ago, but I find it's a fun thing to do. Look at replays or whatever and watch very slow motion team fights and be like, think of it like as a turn-based game almost. You know what I mean? Like,
League is the turn-based game.
Yeah.
Could be.
if your lag's really bad.
This character does. Good hook, but it won't result in too much. Might be able to pick
Except
up the Ashe. She's at
for
1
the
HP.
surprise party. And speaking of wards, as you were saying, crucial against the Shadow Isles. Because otherwise you're just gonna get spooked.
We're at 69. There's a reference there somewhere. But
Surely.
yeah, SI's spooking them pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But the gold difference is in favor of Freljord. They're up 1k about.
Now it's funny, because I bet you anything that if you pulled Freljord right now, they'd all be like, oh yeah, we're down. You know, we're pretty seriously down in gold. But no, they're not. In terms of money they have to buy items.
Right, pretty exactly even right now. I will say that the distribution.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Distribution is actually quite optimal because most of the gold is on Ashe. They're at 80 carry. Just getting those Ashe ult picks. And then the wall, and Fiddlesticks is gonna go down.
And now we got that gold advantage for the Freljord, and they're pushing with it. Nice wall.
The wall out.
Oh, but
No, but Thresh
great hook.
found the lead to go in.
And a gutsy move by Thresh going in, right? I think the right call. Oh,
Slow death by red buff. Top lane tank fight shouldn't result in too much, but Maokai out of mana.
oh man, I'm just remembering the Scion stuff from that match, where they'd spend like 30 seconds trying to kill Scion.
Right. I like the way Freljord's putting together their comp. Like, contrary to yesterday's games, they're using their initiation tools like Ashe ult to sort of pick people off, like the way they picked off the Fiddlesticks. They're playing much more like a pick comp.
They're spooking the
Whereas-
spooks.
Right, spooking the spooks, exactly. Whereas Shadow Isles, they're responding in a way. A lot of their engage is based off of the Thresh hook, because Thresh is just landing all these hooks. But it doesn't always go their way when they land the Thresh hooks.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of times people say don't focus the support. You know, they're the lowest value on team. But you know, especially with these, you know, the gold changes, supports, and so forth. Like, I kind of question that. And a lot of a support can really be a keystone for the team. Like, if Shadow Isles loses Thresh, it seems like a lot of their really, you know, that pickoff potential is lost.
That was an attempted pickoff using the Ballista ult, but it doesn't work out because Sejuani was there to counter gank. But yeah, as you were saying, as Thresh goes down, that actually no, my train of thought has been lost. There's more ganks going on, more fighting. Oh yeah, I got it. So I would like to see League evolve more into a more support focused, like gotta kill off the support first priority, because the way that it's going, it's like in every other game, it's focus the healer down, right? And in League, supports are sort of like the healer. Because
They
of all their
multiply. I
utility.
mean, a good support multiplies their teammates' effectiveness,
Right, basically. So
often
even
in
though-
subtle ways.
Right now, it's like kill the ADC, focus on damage dealer. A good support won't let his ADC die. Maokai, Fiddlesticks, AoE. Lots of AoE damage, but I don't think it's enough to kill everyone. No, Thresh gets the kill, picks up the Ashe. That'll be in favor of SI.
There we go, and so just Trundle left.
They're calling for Baron. Good Baron call. Should be safe. Don't think Trundle could do much about that.
Let's look at the vision. Here's Trundle's vision. I mean, he sees Thresh. He probably knows they're going for the Baron.
Eve is low. I think if he knew that Eve's sort of backing off, then he has a chance to steal. Not by much, but always worth the shot.
Good job, Spooks. Good job, Spooks. So, you know, I mean, Fiddlesticks, as I see it, is one of those champions. I like them. You know what? A Mumu Fiddlesticks? That might be an interesting choice for the Shadow Isles.
AoE wombo combo.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That AoE wombo combo could be pretty serious. And remember, Amumu's passive. I think sometimes people discount his passive. But it's
Alright,
in
I think they changed it recently. I'm not sure what it does.
Oh, they
but-
changed it? Really?
So, you know, old Amumu passive, right?
was
He used to
massive
do more
MR shred.
magic damage, right? But new Amumu passive, I don't know when they changed it, but it converts the percentage of magic damage to true damage. So like 10% of all incoming magic damage to a target that you hit turns into true damage.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure when they made the change, but
So it's like,
found out
oh,
in
that's actually,
January.
oh, I should really look into that because that makes me a little bit sad. Oh, here we go. Nice. Got a hook onto Braum. Braum shields what comes next. I think Shadow Isles being smart and not going in too hard on there. They could have wasted a lot of DPS on Braum's shield.
Right. They're just fishing for these hooks that they're catching.
Catch him, throw him back.
So, no, I don't want this one. Give me a
Yeah.
juicier fish.
Yes.
Maokai's taking a lot of damage. Like, a lot of damage. He's a tank, though. Fiddlestick's going in. Good ult, but no Zonya since he goes down fast. Evelyn wants some, also. To able to take out the Ashe. That should be going fairly even. That's 3 down for Freljord. Then they pick up tower. Could pick up inhibitor as well.
Yep. Nice coordination by the Shadow Isles there.
Right. I think it was looking really good for the Freljord, and then Fiddlesticks kind of came in, but he didn't kill anyone, so I thought they were safe. Then Evelyn came in and killed everyone. That was sick. And it all starts out with the Thresh hook. They're really relying on the Thresh to be the engage, and it's working out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that and Maokai ult. Maokai did well. Did work there.
Ah, another great AoE ult. No, wait, did they change that? Okay.
Change who?
His ult.
Which ult?
Maokai's ult, it's like an AoE damage reduction thing, right?
No. That was a long time ago. That was pre-reworked Maokai. New Maokai, as Thresh gets caught, but new Maokai, it's like a Nami wave, right?
Oh, it's
it's
that
really-
wave of roots.
Yeah, wave of roots. It's much slower though, and a lot larger.
Mm-hmm.
So
It is
yeah,
thematic.
that's all.
Yeah, so I guess they must. Yeah, I guess they removed that a while ago. Dating myself. Yeah, I don't. I haven't seen Maokai. Well, I actually have seen Maokai for a bit. So much as I don't know how I missed the ult being different. Quick little arrow. So Thresh is down for another 10 seconds. So there's no more pickoff. No more hooks.
Maokai goes down. Ice, super effective against grass types.
Absolutely. Yep. Causes cells to rupture.
I think it's interesting. Maokai is actually going for a full magic resist build because it's adaptive helm and spirit visage. So typically, since he's the top laner, he'd be fighting the Trundle, who's mostly AD damage. But since he doesn't have teleport, he's not opting to fight him in a split push battle, which means Maokai is really itemizing for the team fight, really looking for a good team fight. So we can see that Shadow Isles is prioritizing team fighting right now, despite Freljord's tenacity. They use AoE wombo combo very often.
Well, there. I think there goes. Well, there's the Zonias for the fiddle, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be enough to save him. They want that fiddle dead.
But he goes back in.
And Sejuani's holding him at bay, though.
Right, Fiddlesticks will go down. But this is a fight under tower. They also pick up the Earth Dragon. So they're trading. That's 3 for 1. But they pick up Dragon. Might be worth, might not be worth. They don't get tower, it's protected. So Shadow Isles do hold.
Putting the Braum stacks. There we go.
Shut down.
I think they want more. They're going for more towers.
Yep. I think Sejuani made a nice play there. They really focused Fiddlesticks, and when Fiddlesticks did, to his credit, actually managed to get his ult going. Sejuani was just body blocking him, so he couldn't do more damage to the squishy backline.
It's very scary, tanks in your face.
Yep.
Eve wants to go in. Misses the Q, might not have enough damage as a result. Oh, but SI wants to engage.
It can be tough to chase down the Freljord, though. They got the slows.
Slows.
Slow down.
Trundle this entire time has been on wave clear duty, making sure that bot lane minions are properly set up, which is very, very good in a way.
Let's take a look at that.
Minion waves, very important.
That's where you kill, was it like all but 1 or 2? It's like you want to leave just enough enemy minions that your minions have to stop to kill them.
Right, something like that. Slow pushing, I think.
Yes, I think that's the term. Yeah, minion dynamics are very interesting that way.
Right. Good hook onto a priority target. Don't know if anyone's able to follow up though.
There's the Zonias to see if they can save her in the meantime.
Yeah, that baited the Evelyn in. Unable to kill the Olivia. This is a good team fight for the Freljord. Yeah, Fiddlesticks couldn't find a good ult to go in, so it was a pretty favorable fight for the Freljord.
I'm gonna jump back and watch it real quick while they do Baron. So there's the Thresh hook. And they converge on the Anivia. She uses Zonias while Ash starts volleying into that space. Anivia comes back, survives. And there's the cleanup.
I'm not sure what it is, but it feels like Shadow Isles' calm is just falling off when it comes to late game. It could be that Callista doesn't have any crit multipliers because it's only like on hit, like Renan's versus Ashe, who also sort of falls off late game, but not as hard because Ashe has crit multipliers. And then Anivia scales up well, Sejuani sort of scales up well, and Shadow Isles, they're just missing damage in a sense, and they don't have a good Fiddlesticks ult.
I want to point out, one thing Shadow Isles is doing very well is dragon control. It's 3 drags.
3 drags. Sparkly. Gold Fiddlesticks right there. Misclick. But Baker did it, so, you know, probably just copying him.
Ooh.
Actually, that was warded. Kills the Ashe. Alright, that's major DPS down for the Freljord. So it's gonna be a more tank-focused fight. Lista's still up. Don't know if she wants to clean up.
I think she's like, I think I'll leave this one to you guys. She's gonna try to do a little bit. Maokai tanking a lot of damage.
Still. And the tank line's just rushing her down.
Maokai ult would have been great there, but I don't...
They gotta kill off the Trundle. He's the main source of a DPS right now. Trundle and Anivia. Anivia's backed out. But yeah, Freljord's gonna pick it up. Another team fight win for them.
So what happened there? Looks like, what's your analysis of that? It seemed like the Freljord split Shadow Isles.
Right. I think Fiddlesticks was going for the backline and being able to assassinate Ashe, which was a very good play. You have to go for the DPS, but there's so many damage dealers on Freljord's side. You have the Anivia and you have the Trundle, and they were just able to take down the Shadow Isles. Callista backed off a lot earlier than expected, which means that Maokai was kind of tanking for a certain amount of time, but it was really useless because Callista wasn't doing damage during that time, which is why the Shadow Isles lost, because their DPS went down.
Look at all those minions.
Minions. That's gonna create a very large push for the next few minutes. They'll probably be able to secure a Baron off of that as well, unless Shadow Isles are able to push out their lanes pretty well, get out a few picks.
And there's the Elder Dragon buff.
Right. Overall, I think the win condition for these team fights for Shadow Isles is to be able to avoid all of these engage tools by the Sejuani and the Ashe, while also taking on their DPS, such as the Ashe, the Anivia, and the Trundle in that order, basically. Which they can do, since they are focused on vision control due to the nature of Fiddlesticks ult. They are being able to kill the DPS. It's just that they can't kill all of the DPS.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like they're just gonna push down bot. It's Elder, I think, but it doesn't matter too much. They only have one dragon at hand. They could go for a team fight since Callista has Guardian Angel, but Fiddlesticks ult whiffs due to a really good wall by the Anivia. It's gonna be a Zhonya's in a bad place. Counter initiation by the Freljord, so they're gonna pick up the fight. And that's gonna be game.
I think so. Well, here I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna slow-mo that last team fight.
Right, that was a really solid Anivia wall in that last fight, being able to stop Fiddlesticks.
Oh, okay, so I'm going back to 41-25. Let's take a look at what happens here. Here comes the big Malchild. And yeah, that Anivia wall. You can see Fiddle's trying to get around. Here comes Evelyn flanking. There is this sort of second push, but by then they still do have Callista and Thresh. You know, Callista does stay alive till the end, but yeah, Anivia. That wall.
It was the valiant attempt, but Elder Dragon buffs really aided the Freljord in that fight, as well as
Yep.
proper position. Even if Shadow Isles got a perfect fight with the Fiddlesticks ult, I sort of doubt that they would have been able to take the fight even still.
No, it was at that point it was pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, let me switch this over here. Oh, well, we should probably get that next match started up.
Yeah. Second
Let me
match, let's go.
Yep, let's do it. Let me just double check to see if anyone has submitted this one yet. Because I want to make sure that's in first, but otherwise, yeah, wow. Hard fought on both sides, to be sure.
Yeah, very well done. I am seeing a pattern. Shadow Isles gets ahead mid-game. Freljord comes back late game.
So maybe it's a matter of Shadow Isles needing to push its advantage in the early and mid game.
Right. Just gotta close, which they were pretty close to doing.
Okay, we don't have the submission yet, so yeah, if someone could send that one in. But yeah, let's get this new lobby set up.
Right, sweet.
I'm going to stop and restart the stream. Well, thanks again, Quan, for casting, and yeah, feel free to stick around. Oh, hey, Poncho's on. Interesting. All right, I'll restart the stream momentarily.